Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange, and I'm here to help beginners get started in China painting. And if you've been painting a while, I hope you will paint along with us. Now today, we're going to be working on our lighthouse. The project actually has been ongoing for probably the last year. And you'll probably remember we did a seagull. And I did 2 seagull plates. I'll show them to you here. And then I thought, okay, now I'm going to do a plate to go along with it. This is the finished lighthouse, and this is the bird from last year. You see how similar they are? So I'm going to put them together in a set of 4 and sell them at my booth in Plaza Antiques, which is on Dix Highway in Lincoln Park, Michigan. If you're interested in downloading, but the way you download from my website, you go to shoppaintandporcelain.com and you do a search for like lighthouse, which is what we're working on. And then the lighthouse will come up. Now it's free. So, you know, you're not going to be charged for it, and you can do it both in the US and internationally. The studies you cannot, but the line drawings you can. And you just go through the purchase process. You won't be charged. And at the very end, it'll pop up and you can either print it from there, or it will also send you a reminder email with a download in it that you can download and then print out. One thing I want to tell you about the lighthouse is it's really important that it be straight, especially when you're only doing this kind of a lighthouse. So you need to indicate, and I'll show you here, I did it already, at the top of your plate, the top of your plate, before you trace the lighthouse on. You're going to take the line drawing, you're going to use your Sorel transfer paper with the dark side down, and you're going to put it on your plate, and you're going to trace the lighthouse. Now, when you trace, you're not going to be real even, I'm sure. So then what I recommend you do is, and this is a really important step, get yourself a T-square. You can get them at garage sales and tag sales right now, or you can go up to the store and buy yourself one at like Staples or any of the stores that sell any kind of school supplies. And you're going to take your plate. I hope I can do this way. Take your plate and you're going to put it at the top of your plate and get a flexible one. That's really important. Let me show you. See how this is flexible? Because you want to be able to, if your plate has a little bit of concavity to it, you want to be able to, can you see that? Press it down like this. So I'm going to put it there and I'm going to press it down and draw your lines on either side of your lighthouse. And even the lines up at the top, up here, right here, and the lines on the windows, because you want them to be perfectly straight, and that's really important. So get yourself a T-square. Now, I know this is a round piece, but if you set it at the top and push it down, it will work for you. And it's also nice when you're doing things on tiles and what have you. It comes in really handy. So I would recommend that. If you don't have one, get one, but make sure it's flexible. The same thing with any rulers that you buy. When you are working on china, having a flexible ruler, and see-through is nice too, but it doesn't have to be, helps a lot. It will conform to your plate much easier and make it easier for you to, like if you're doing plaid, make the lines straight. You don't have to have these colors. You can have something similar. So I have a baby blue up here, and you can use any light blue. I have a tan. That's not necessary. In fact, for years, I never even knew what tan was. I use ivory more than tan. If you want to make, I use tan for shadowing on the sand, but you could just add a little brown to your ivory and it'd be fine. I have Copenhagen, and I have a dark brown, which is rich brown, but if you don't have rich brown, there's a lot of others that are very dark. I have a white, which I probably won't use this time, but I have it in case I need it. And I have a warm brown green for the trees. This is black, and this is shading brown. Now, you don't need shading brown. See what color that is there and how it looks? I would say any medium brown that you have should work, but not hair brown. I don't like hair brown for some reason. It just does not appeal to me. This is an orange. Mine is South Brown, as all of you know, I know by now. This is grass green, but you could use moss. And this is egg, but any yellow will work. You just want a bright yellow because we're going to be putting it on the sand to kind of give it a little bit of a sunny look. And the bright yellow works really, really well. We're going to start with the sky. We always start with the sky. Oh, brushes. I'm going to use, of course, my Filbert. This is a number 16 Filbert. It's really thin. See how thin it is? That's one of the reasons I love it. The thinner it is, the easier it is to make a nice sky with. We're going to use a pointer. This is a number 2. I'm definitely using my scroller this time, for sure. I didn't use my number 2 very much. Let's see what else. Oh, and I definitely am going to use this one, which is a Scharf, and it's a 3/4 inch Scharf square shader. And if we use others, I'll mention them because right now I don't know which ones I'm going to use, except that I'm definitely starting with this one. And I always try to go as far as I can with my Filbert because it just gives me the best color and the best coverage. So, okay, starting with the sky, you're going to do baby blue. Go over, and this is why I say, you know, it's not really worth tracing in things like the trees and stuff because all you're going to do is go over them and it's going to turn your paint all black, but it will fire out, so don't panic. Come down the side of the lighthouse and get that color in there. I'm going to have to clean my brush because it's kind of gunky. There we go. And put a little more blue on. I like a turntable. You don't have to have a turntable. If you're a cake decorator and you have a cake decorator thing, that a Lazy Susan that turns, that works too, you know. You don't have to have a turntable. You could put one of those, they're like a rubber pad that I think Rubbermaid makes them, and I think you can get them at, like Hardware's is where we get them. And it's just a piece of rubber, kind of like this here. And you just put that down. Now am I going back so you can see? Yeah. You just put that down on there and it will hold your plate and keep it from slipping. And you could use anything that revolves that way without having your plate go flying off. So keep applying oil, but when you apply your oil, you dip it in the oil and go like this so that you don't take too much oil with you into the paint because you don't want oily paint, but you do want it to move, okay? There we go. And see, this is the real color, this blue out here. And this color can go over the edge a little bit because the whole edge is going to eventually be blue. But try not to do too much now. I mean, wipe it off before you fire it because otherwise you'll get 2 layers and then it won't look the way you want it to look. Now, let me show you what I did here. You're going to want to go over this gently. And you're going to want to go over your trees. Now, on the other lighthouse that I did, I don't have as many clouds as I do on this one. It's actually up to you how many clouds you want. You just keep kind of feathering things around. Go at the end of your brush, the very tip of your brush down here, and just pick, 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 pick. And that will give you kind of a cloudy effect. And then I would take this, which is a Q-tip. For me, I'm just going to go around because I'm going to forget to do this. And if I do, it's going to give me a double layer on the rim, and I don't want that. So I'll just get it off this way. There. Okay. Okay, now for the water, this is the way I do my water. Everybody does it differently. I come across and down because I want to make sure that it's on either side of the lighthouse. If you leave your lighthouse white particularly, think about what colors you're going to do things, because if you leave your lighthouse white, you have to have blue by it. So you kind of have to think about how it's going to look in the long run. Now this time you're just putting these on lightly, but you want to leave a little white to look a little bit like waves. And here's a trick. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can either do this, where you leave the little white in there. And you want that back line to be a little darker. There we go. Between the sky and the ground, just so you know. Or you could take your Q-tip, using just kind of the side of it there, and just doing a little bit of like that, and that will give you a little bit of the wave action look without a whole lot of wave action. But it'll give you the option in the future to add those waves. So think about that. That's another thing you have to do. You have to make sure that if you want waves on here that you have, and I do with this one, now waves go big to little, big to little. So, just, it doesn't matter what you do on this particular one, because you can always correct it on the next painting. But now we're going to do our sand. I do my sand with ivory. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush, obviously, the same brush. I'm going to take old ivory is what I have. Now I noticed that I forgot to put this little strip here of sand that's down by the beach on the line drawing. So if you get the line drawing and you don't see this, you can just draw a line and put it in. It should be pretty simple. And then you're going to come up here and come down. Now, initially, I know it's all the same color. Why is it all the same color? Well, that's the undercolor for all of this. Eventually, you'll put some shadows on it and that kind of thing. But right now, you're just painting in the sand, okay? I'm leaving this area because it's going to be green. I'm also going to go into my egg now, and I'm going to bring some yellow into the sand here and a little bit here, so that it looks a little bit almost sunny. It'll fire out a little, and you'll put other colors on top of it, so it really won't be noticeable. But I found that it added a lot of color to the picture, and it made it really nice. So that's something to consider. All righty. Now I'm cleaning off my brush again, and now I'm going to switch over to my I'm going to switch over to my 3/4 inch square shader. And I'm going to turn the lighthouse this way. Let me get the blue off of there. Okay. Turn the lighthouse this way. This side of the lighthouse, I'm going to paint ivory. See here how I did it? And then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing here and paint it orange. So let me show you what I did. Take your ivory, full load, all the way across. You want it flat. You want a flat load of ivory. And you're just going to, you're going to lift as you go, because what you want this to do is give it a round appearance. And if you lift as you go, it'll be dark and then a little bit lighter. See this? This is very simple. And then you just have to decide how far do you want that ivory to go. You don't have to clean your brush. You can put it right into the the orange, but if it's not enough oil on there, it really won't work for you. So you're going to have to do it this way. Those are my little windows there, see? See how I'm letting the colors blend, but I'm trying to be consistent about the color that's down this side, okay? Okay, now I've got the color on there, and I'm going to look at it from the front and see if I like it. I'm wiping off on my towel. And I'm going to just lightly come back this way, just so that, oops, overdid it. Pat. There we go. Now you can even put a little ivory on your brush if you want and just come back this way a little bit. But make sure you keep patting, because you don't want to take that orange over to the other side. I think I want a little more orange down here. So I'm going to put a little more orange down here. Come on, come on. Cooperate, cooperate. I actually saw this light. This is a Michigan lighthouse, and I just love it. We went out to it, and it's an all brick lighthouse, but it's an old one. So the brick is kind of that Chicago brick, that kind of orangey brick. Hang on, I'm losing the oil here, and that's my problem there. Okay, and then we'll take it back the other way. All right. Now, don't play with it too much. If it's not the way you want it this time, it will be next time. You actually want it about the depth of this here. So if you play with it a little and you get it a little too dark, that's fine. It's going to fire out a little bit because it's orange. And so now the only other thing I want to do is I want to just gently kind of, okay, smooth it. You have to be so careful. Oh, and here, I failed to get the yellow in. Okay, there we go. Kind of like that. There we go. Pull this back a little. All right. And then you're going to go down the side, make sure it's straight. And down this side and make sure it's straight. And it doesn't matter if you take a little bit of the sky off, believe me. Okay. All right. Now, before we put the black on, I want to get the green in. So we're going to go to, I'm going to clean my brush. So I'm going to use my scroller with Shading Brown, which is my medium brown. I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to start and pull these little trees up over here. In Michigan, and I don't know how it is other places, but when our trees and things grow in the sand, like these are here, they're real spindly. They're not very pretty. Usually, they're kind of weak. A lot of bottom growth. Let me get over here too. A lot of bottom growth as far as sticks, but the leaves kind of stay up on the top, and it's just, and they usually tend to go towards, I need more oil. They usually tend to go one direction, like here, they'll go this direction because they're kind of wind blown, and they'll kind of go down, they'll lose their roots. Their roots will come out down below here. So I'm just putting them in. And I need to get my filbert with a little bit of brown and just put a little bit of there. That's better. Okay, I'm going to take my tan and just do a little bit of dark here, a little shading. Oops. Wet on wet, meaning it's already wet underneath. We've already got 2 layers of color there. And I'm going to take the brown and just put it up in here too. And then I'm just going to redo these base. There, 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 there. Okay. I'm doing them in a lighter brown this time, so next time I can do them in a darker brown. And if I think they're too thick, I just push it back with the Q-tip. Okay. My pointer. Now I use my pointer with the green. And this is how the leaves look. They're a little individual, sparsely done leaves. So that's what you want to do. You want to do sparse leaves on here. Just a few here and there. They don't have a lot. And this is a typical Michigan tree by the water. They don't have a lot of leaves on them. We're just going to put little leaves here and there. They're kind of windblown. You might want to bring a few down here, but not many. Most of them are up on the top. It seems like, I don't know why, but they are. You can mix a little warm brown green in with them if you want. It's hard to stand up on the tip of this and get them, but that's what you want. You want just itty bitty kind of haphazard little leaves. Now I want my 2 plates as much as possible to sort of match. So, because they're part of a set. So I'm looking at my other plate to make sure I get things pretty similar. And now we're going to do it over here. They're just blobs. Just the tip. Stay up on the tip. And kind of smash the tip down like this. There, 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 there. Okay. You don't want a lot of green. You can always put more green in, but you can't take it out. Remember that. Just put a little back down in here. Okay. Next time what we'll do is we'll put some of the sticks in that are down at the bottom of the hill and things like that. But right now we're just trying to lay in the basics. Kind of make it look nice or the way you want it to look. Okay, I think that works for me. Maybe a little more over in here. All right. And then the last thing we're going to do for the green is I'm going to paint it in with my pointer down here. Want a little yellow in it. It's a little too dark. Here, let's take this guy in. Yeah, that's better. I don't want it quite that thick and dark. There. And we're going to put it in. Boop, 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 boop. Then we're going to take the pointer, put a little bit of green on it, and start pulling up these little grassy, kind of a sea grass, beach grass. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm taking my grass green, just pulling it up a little. Happy little trees. You can also put some up here if you want. I didn't do that on the other one, and I kind of wished I had. There we go. I can decide if I like those or if I don't. Now, it's time to take the black. So I'm going to put it on my scroller. Let me clean my other brushes and get them out of the way here. I tend to create a pile of brushes. Anybody else do that? I create a huge pile of brushes, and then I have to slowly but surely take them all and put them where they belong. Before I do that, I want to take a little ivory and just, yeah. And then I want some, that's better. Just some shadows. Okay. And there will be a little bit of more green here, so let me just, there. Okay. So now I'm taking my scroller Oops, got to make sure I don't have just turpentine on it. And I'm rolling it in my black, so it's really, really fine. This is what I meant about make sure you have extremely, extremely straight lines. Now, you can do them light like this time. That's fine. Don't try to get them dark. If you try to get them too dark, you may end up just messing them up. Okay. Turn it as you need it. Turn your piece as you need it. I'm going to have to work upside down here. The nice thing is you don't have to worry about the rim. The rim is not painted at this time. Don't paint your rim. And you can paint just a little across here. Leave a little of a highlight. It might be too blatant, but right now it doesn't really matter because you can always correct it on the next time. Oop, not enough. There we go. And just keep painting. And the final thing, now do these upside down because you should paint towards yourself. You can also do them backhanded. I've done that before. But take your time with them, or do them this way, sideways, because sometimes it's easier to paint from side to side. Now, there should be some kind of a lighthouse thing in there. Oops, hang on, this guy's not as deep as the others. Okay. So I just did a circle like this. And I didn't care if it was real perfect or not. And I just did something like this in the middle, just so it looked like a lighthouse there. Okay? And then coming down, this should be the thickest part here. And then you have these things coming down here. One is thick at the top, and it thins down. I didn't put these on all of them because I thought if I did, it just makes it hard. A lot of the times it's better off just to paint basics and leave off things and then put them on later, and you'll get a better study or a better product. So like with the tops of the windows, I didn't draw those in because I thought if I draw them in, then they'll just be distracting. Okay, that's my first fire. I'm just going around now making sure I can see where the color is getting into the border here. And I don't want it to mess up my border, so I'm just taking it off. Okay, like that. And then, alrighty then, pick up those brushes, keep painting. See you next time.